Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. This is episode number 93. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host and podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you, Jim.
And today we're going to be talking about what is the biggest issue your ideal customer is dealing with and the main stuff they need to know. How can you help them with their problem? And why should you help them with their problem, Stu? Why is this even important?
That's what you're in business for.
I'm in business to help people solve problems?
You are.
I thought I was in business just to make money.
How do you do that?
Oh,
Well,
you make money.
What's the 10 ways?
10 ways?
Yeah.
No, that's the 10 reasons people buy.
Yeah, 10 reasons people buy.
But typically it comes down to two things. People buy anything to solve a problem or achieve a result. And ultimately, it's people buy anything to achieve a result, which usually is to solve a problem. I'm hungry. Let me buy a 99-cent burrito. I have to sit in the smallest room in the house because I ate that 99-cent burrito. Okay, I need soft toilet paper. Anything comes down to basically solving a problem, moving people from where they are now to where they want to be. And once they get where they want to be, guess what, Stu?
What?
They want to be somewhere else.
Ah.
Here's the thing. I don't remember who, I think it was Earl Nightingale, I heard say, once you've solved one set of problems, you've earned the right to solve a new set of problems. And most people think that if they get to a certain income level, if they get to a certain physical fitness level, a certain weight, if they get a certain relationship, a certain car, a certain house, a certain bank account level, I may have said that already, income, whatever it is, that all their problems will disappear. And the true answer is that no, all you're doing is just earning the right to solve a new set of problems. And the day you stop solving problems is the day that you die. So people will pay money to solve their problems, to have somebody else solve their problems, either show them the path, which is a book.
Yep.
That's what Stu has behind him, a whole bunch of different books that solve very specific problems in the fitness world. So solving, I want to be a SWAT team member. What do I need to do? I want to get in the military. What do I need to do? I want to be a Navy SEAL. What do I need to do? I want to be an FBI agent. What do I need to do? So very specific things. I want to torture myself. Get that one. So, but seriously, you just transition from one set of problems. You basically grow out of one set of problems and grow into another set of problems. People will pay you for knowledge on how to do it. They will pay you to do it for them. That's what a service is. They will pay you to do it with them or to coach them through it. So it's basically, I'll tell you what to do personally, I'll do it for you, or I'll show you what to do in some sort of book, or I've got a product or something that'll do it for you, a product or a tool or a software. But that's pretty much it. That's how you can trade people money for a solution to their problem. So which problem should you solve, Stu? I mean, you can look at me and see that there are a lot of problems that need solving.
Well, we all have them.
How do you decide which one?
I got a plumbing issue right now, and I'm trying to figure out, do I just go to YouTube and figure out how to do it, or do I call a plumber?
Now, are you talking metaphorically like a prostate thing, or are you talking literally like something wrong with a toilet or something?
No, legit plumbing problem in the house. Yes.
Okay. Don't know. As we get older, we use code words. I wasn't sure.
That is true. No, but the biggest issue that people have is, and that's what you have to do when you're understanding your customer. Use that avatar wizard to better understand your customer. because that kind of sets it up and asks you the right questions that you need to know how to answer. Right. And then how can you help them with their problem, whatever that is? Like, for instance, I'm working on a wizard right now, an article that I'm using, the Listicle Wizard. And I titled it Weaknesses Exposed, because in my line of work, for my customers, if they are failing to prepare, what are they doing? Preparing to fail, right? So
Ooh,
I
excuse
really,
me.
I
Easy,
really,
Yogi Berra.
I really focus on, their level of preparation, because their weaknesses will be exposed on day one of when they get to their boot camp or selection or spec ops training or whatever that is. Their weakness will be exposed. That is something that maybe they neglected, maybe they didn't work hard enough in a certain area. And guess what? They have to face that daily gut check, every day, maybe every week, whatever. It's going to be an added stress to their success. And it may even cause them to not succeed whatsoever, right? They may fail and not be able to continue on because they didn't meet the standard, or they didn't prepare themselves well enough, so they weren't durable, so they just fell apart and broke. That's a majority of the issues for most people. They just weren't properly prepared. So anyway, I'm writing an article, and all the ideas or secrets or whatever are weaknesses exposed. Right. And so anyway, that's what I'm trying to get out. And I realize it's going to take multiple articles to do this, because you have weaknesses exposed during the recruitment process. You have weaknesses exposed going through boot camp and prep. And then you got weaknesses exposed going through the actual selection. So all of that crammed in one article was just driving me nuts about how to put that out, in a more consumable form. So I realized it needed to be broken up, and using that list wizard really helped me formulate my thinking process to spit that out. So anyway, I've kind of answered two things with one
I just letting you
long
run.
paragraph. Yeah. But, I realized what my biggest need for my customer was, because I use the avatar wizard. Plus, I already know what it is, but the avatar wizard helped me formulate it a little better.
Refine it.
Yes. And then use that list wizard to help me nail down all the areas where, their potential weaknesses will be exposed.
So I think one of the things, and I just had this thought, I just want to kick this around for a minute, but we, in the show that we did before we did the podcast, we were talking about getting in flow, and one of our listeners, watchers, Denise said something about a Keystone Habit, where if you activate the Keystone Habit, then it activates a habit chain.
Yeah.
And it makes me think, and this isn't necessary for everything that you're doing, but if you can, and I've talked about goals in the past, where there are certain goals that if you focus on that goal, that action, that it brings a lot of other things along with it. So like for me, the goal, work out every single day, as hard as I can, as best I can, towards the goal of tactical fitness. And so I know that by doing that, it helps to bring along my self-esteem, my self-confidence. It keeps me calm. It gives me a feeling of accomplishment. There are all these things that come along with taking that action with that goal, that like everything falls into the slipstream of that, as opposed to the opposite of sitting on the couch, not exercising, eating bad stuff, and make it, that's going to lower your self-esteem, which is going to impact your health. It's going to impact your well-being, all these things that instead of moving forward, you're going down into a deep pit. So depending on what you're selling, if you think about it from the standpoint of, if you can identify, I'm just going to coin this, and if it's a real thing, great, I made it up and somebody else did it, but a keystone problem, it's like a log jam. If you think about it, my buddy Duke Clark was the first one I'd ever seen explain it like this, but there are certain problems that are like log jams in your life. And if you've ever seen a log jam on a river, and I have before, when I lived in California, they're cutting off trees and they slide them down into the river and they float them down to the sawmill. But every once in a while, there's a log jam. That's where the term comes from. But typically, to get the log jam going, there's one log that needs to get moved. And often they can get the one log out of the way and then everything starts flowing. Now, another one, you get that one going and another one causes a log jam. You got to get that one out of the way and then they start flowing. But after a while, once you get those logs out of the way and get everything going, it flows on down the river to the sawmill. And I think that there are certain problems that are the ones that everything flows from, that if you can solve that problem for somebody, it will create either a single solution that just solves everything, or it starts people down the river to being able to get ultimately what they want, and they'll have to go through a series of things. So if we look at the problem of, we'll use the problem of the person getting ready for, let's say, going to buds. And you said the number one reason why people fail is because they're just not conditioned well enough, either physically or mentally. But the mental is also linked inextricably to the physical.
Sure.
Because if you're physically ready, then you're not stressed all the time. Like, holy crap, we got the 4-mile timed run tomorrow, and I feel like I've got stress fractures in my shins. And how the hell am I going to run 4 miles on a beach in under 32 minutes tomorrow? And so they don't sleep. Whereas the night before, which you're just totally screwed. Whereas the one guy who's like, I was doing this in Severna Park with Stu Smith, doing this. I can do this in my sleep. I'm fine. This is just another workout. I've done workouts that were harder than this, and done well with them. So if you can communicate to them that that's the level you need to get to, as far as understanding the problem, and then telling people, communicating it to them in a way that they can actually understand, and then say, okay, now this is the problem you either have, or this is the problem you're gonna have. And if this is the problem you have, here's why it's a problem now, and why it's an immediate concern. And then here's a path that I can help you, so that you basically have two futures. Now I'm starting to get into the copy. It's, it's like the guy, the old Wall Street Journal ad, there are two guys, they're so-and-so's president, the other one's a mid-level manager. What's the difference between them? Well, about 10 years ago, the president subscribed to the Wall Street Journal and read that every day. And the mid-level manager did the crossword puzzle with his paper in the local paper every morning. So for 10 years, this guy was getting this and this and this and this and this and this. Okay, now a tale of two SEAL candidates. Okay, one guy is at graduation as the honor man. The other one is gone in the second week with IT band, which stands for I tried buds. Okay, so what was the difference? Well, the difference was 6 months before, or a year before, the honor grad was doing workouts that were harder than what he was experiencing in buds, whereas the other one was trying to meet the minimum standards of, okay, well, in order to get a buds contract, I only have to do 10 pull-ups and 40 push-ups and 50 sit-ups and run 1.5 miles in 12 minutes. So, I mean, the problem that you want to get down to is, the reason people fail is because their bodies aren't tough enough. Because if your body's tough enough, everybody thinks it's a mental thing. They want to go, they get used to taking cold showers. They jump in cold water. They do all this other stuff, but that what they don't realize is that the mental stress comes from the physical stress, not the other way around. So what
Absolutely.
you need to do is be in such crazy great shape that you're laughing when they're messing with you, because you're like, I got this. I've done harder than this before.
Yeah. And the thing is like if you have built up yourself to a certain level, you don't have to engage mental toughness, right? It's not
Right.
even part of the challenge, right? You don't have to like, oh man, I'm about to fail. I need to really dig deep to make this happen. So
Right.
anyway, that's one of the problems of my world. And I really like what you guys are talking about. The Keystone Habit thing is one thing that Jim does all the time. And letting the chickens out with Jim is a great example. I mean, he has a keystone habit of letting the chickens out every day, right? But he got the idea of, I need to add some content to my day. And he started videotaping and having a little discussion while he let the chickens out. So he
Right.
just tied a new habit to an existing habit
Right.
and just merged them together. That's
And
what
as
we're
long
talking
as I
about too.
and as
You
long
know?
as I have time to get it done, I get it done. But sometimes you just gotta get it done really fast.
Yeah.
But Denise just said something interesting that I want to hit on. She said, you're going too deep. The keystone problem is within, but people like to find the problem without, external. Absolutely. Nobody wants you to tell them that they're stupid, lazy, or dumb, or ignorant, or anything. It can't be their fault. And that's something that the first copywriter I ever heard talk about that was Dan Kennedy, who said that it's never their fault. You've always got to let them off the hook so that internally they can know that it's their fault, and secretly they do know that it's their fault, that they gave up on too many workouts. They didn't do that extra thing they should have gotten done from their to-do list by the end of the by the end of the day, that they knocked off too early and they started too late. But you got to tell them that it's not their fault, and you got to show them how it's an external issue, or externalize the issue for them so that you can give them the solution. But in the end, you have to create circumstances so that they will make that internal change, even if they don't realize that they have made an internal change. Does that make sense? So you almost have to ethically trick them into doing what they should do. It's kind of like when I'm trying to get my dogs to come back here, but I know I shouldn't give them a snack.
Oh, that'll do it.
But if I shake the bag, they come running. And so I'll maybe give them a half a snack, which they're just as happy with a half as a full. It's not like they're tapping their feet going, whoa, 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 whoa. I wanted a whole bone. It's like, oh, we're getting something. Okay. I mean, it's understanding what drives them, but it can't be, you got to lead them. You can't push them. And so I'm not really sure exactly how to, what am I trying to say
Well,
here,
I
Stu?
will say this, a lot of your wizards that I use to write articles and copy always has that little question comment spot in there where it lets people off the hook. This
Right.
is not your fault because
Right.
you
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
and that is part of you have that in your system. Right. So you're right. It is natural. Hey, something I just saw that was really funny. Sunita does not have chickens, but she has dishes that need out of the dishwasher. So
There
I
you
was
go.
thinking letting the dishes out with Sunita.
Or unloading the dishwasher.
Unloading the dishwasher.
Kitchen wisdom.
Unloading the dishwasher with Sunita. I like it.
And something with, we're getting some really good, this is really good. We're getting some great comments. Denise says you get them on the path and they'll figure it out. I think to a degree that's true. And most people are stuck in self-blame. When there's a problem, they're either blaming themselves or they're vehemently blaming other people. They're cursing the world, competitors, someone that has wronged them in some way, and subconsciously, or maybe even less than consciously, they know that somehow it's their fault, but they're never ever going to admit it, even to themselves. So if you try and make them think the problem is their fault, they're just going to get pissed there and shut down. So what you have to do as a service to them is show them how, or give them an out so that they can move forward, because they're vapor locked on an idea. Give you an example. I don't typically like to watch commercials because my wife complains that why do we have a TiVo and Hulu and all this other stuff where we can skip over it, and you get your 40 minutes worth of content from a 60-minute show. But I do like to watch commercials sometimes, especially if it's real eye-catching, to see what the just to see the patterns that they use. And it always makes me happy when I'm like, okay, now they're gonna say, and they do, and it's like, yeah. Kind of like movies when I predict them based on the hero's journey. But there's a weight loss commercial. I don't remember the brand, but it basically says, if you've tried to lose weight in the past, you've tried the diets, you've tried the this, you've tried the that, and it hasn't worked, it's not your fault. You may have something called insulin resistance. Have you seen this? Have you seen the ad? Yep. Where it prevents your body from burning fat. So it's like, oh yeah, that must be it. Nom 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 nom. With a cheeseburger in one hand, a large fry, but a Diet Coke sitting there. And it's like, yeah, I got the insulin resistance thing. But if you could get them off, and then there's always that little flip. And mentor of mine, he wrote all the guerrilla marketing books, J. Conrad Levinson. He and I were talking one day, and he said, Jim, I have a friend that's got a best-selling diet book. And basically it comes down to the fact that you need to walk 30 minutes a day and get 2 tablespoons of fiber in your diet and watch what you eat. That's how you lose weight. But you have to expand it out to 200 pages in order to get a book out of that. But it basically came down to just letting people off the hook, but then getting them into doing the things that they should do. So all of us need to identify the problem, and let's call it now the Keystone Problem. Yeah. Identify the Keystone Problem that, if you were to identify it, would be able to get people off the mark and be able to start getting results towards the goal that they're trying to get. And if you think about with copywriting, what's the Keystone Problem with copywriting is I don't know where to start, and I know copywriting when I see it, but I don't know how to create it for myself or my own products because I'm not a salesperson. There's all these things. It's basically, I don't know how to start. And so that's why copywriting secrets, funnel scripts, the Jim Rohrs Method Premium, traffic secret scripts, author wizards, all these different things that we've created. The whole point is everybody can answer questions about their target audience. Everybody can answer questions about their topic. But what those tools do is they take what you know and they automatically marry it up with what you don't know, which are patterns for how to communicate. And then it gives you a first draft that you can look at and go, oh, let me edit it, and boom, I've got it. And you're going to get it a lot faster, a lot easier, and a lot quicker. So I've been pretty good at identifying the Keystone Problem for my folks with sales copywriting and content. Is I know my audience and I know my topic, but I don't know how to put it in a way that will sell them and motivate them to buy from me.
Hey, how about this question from Brandon? What do you do when you made so many products, and he has 21 of them, that you feel like all your problems, your niche has been solved?
That's fine. Sell the crap out of everything you've already got.
Yeah,
but
always be selling.
Yeah, but I would think in terms of a progression. Typically, there's one product that is it's like the tip of the spear. It's the tip of the spear product that gets people into your orbit so you can tell them about the other stuff. So you've got to arrange everything into funnels and progressions of funnels.
Yeah.
That's key, because otherwise you've just got these 21 plates you're trying to spin all the time to try and sell stuff. And that's real hard to keep all that going. You need to have the thing that you're known for in the marketplace. And then once that gets people in, they're in your universe and can find out about your stuff.
Hey, Vicky asked me, how often do I publish a new book? If you don't mind me answering, I will. Let's see. I did 2 last year. I did 3 the year before, but in 2018, yeah, 2020, I've done 2. Yeah. So yeah, 2018, I did 8 in 1 year. That was a busy year, but they were series books. So it was, once again, would have been 2 really big books, but I just divided them up into, 4-part series. But yeah,
Cool.
I try to get 1 or 2 a year done, and then spend the rest of my days trying to sell it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Khan says, I've ordered your book yesterday. I hope it will be enlightened. I hope to be enlightened about copywriting. Anybody think that he will be enlightened about copywriting? I hope so.
Yes.
I think we're up around 42,000 people have gotten the book around the world. So hopefully you will.
No, that's great.
Cool. So that's pretty much it for today's podcast. That was fun, and I think we made some discoveries. I'm gonna noodle this around. The Keystone Problem. I think that's something worth thinking about. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, please like, share, comment, let everybody know about it. Also, if you're not a member of our group, you should be. Head on over to the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks group on Facebook. It's free to get in, but you do have to apply. Make sure you fill out the form all the way and agree not to be a spammer or a weirdo. Well, that's not right. Agree not to be a spammer. We're all kind of weirdos in there, but we're friendly weirdos. So there you go.
We're helpful.
Everybody
Everybody is very helpful. Every question I see usually has 5 or 6 people at least commenting or saying, try this, try that, adjust this. I mean,
exactly.
It's a very helpful group.
It's a very, very good group. If you want to learn about copywriting, make sure you head on over to Copywriting Secrets, pick up a copy of my book, Copywriting Secrets. You can get it free. Just pay a small shipping and handling. And Stu, if people want to go to Buds, what can they do?
Well, there's so many other places to go, but yes, StuSmithFitness.com.
All right. Okay, everybody. Well, we appreciate you. Have a great day, and we will see you next time on the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks podcast.